4 threats that will make your A/B test results invalid. I'm Raphael, and I help SaaS companies increase profit and decrease churn through conversion optimization. A/B testing is math, is science even. So for tests to be valid, they need a certain sample size, they need to reach statistical significance, they have to run for 3 to 4 weeks ideally. But in today's video, I want to share with you the 4 other lesser known factors that could skew your A/B test results as well. Number 1, the history effect. The history effect is something that can happen when an event from the outside world causes flawed data in your results, in your test, on your website. Let me explain. Let's say your company just closed a new round of funding and it gets announced publicly while you're running a test. You might get increased press coverage, unusual traffic spikes from visitors that aren't your regular type of visitors in terms of behaviors, needs, and wants. The results on your test will simply be skewed. It's an outside event, something that's outside the norm, and let's say you have a test that succeeds and that wins during one of those times, it doesn't mean that it will be a winner when it goes back to normal. Number 2, the instrumentation effect. The instrumentation effect can happen when there's a problem with your testing tool, code, or test variations, and that could cause your data to be invalid. You don't want that. A common situation, for example, is when the code for the test or for your variations is simply not working properly on all devices or browsers. This could happen if you're using the visual drag and drop editor of your testing tool, where the code is auto-generated, and if it's not tested for all browsers and devices and screen sizes, some problems may arise. Now, let's say variation C of your test isn't showing or displaying properly in Firefox for some reason. A portion of your visitors will be served a problematic page, and as you can guess in this case, variation C will probably lose. When in fact, if it had been coded properly, without any bugs or device or browser issues, maybe it would have been the winner. So, if you do 3-4 weeks of testing, doing cross-browser, cross-device testing, and hand-coding your test to remove all sorts of possible instrumentation issues will definitely pay off. Number 3, the selection effect. The selection effect is when you assume that a portion of your traffic represents and mirrors the behaviors, context, mindset, and needs of the totality of your traffic. And that is untrue, because a visitor coming from a Facebook ad campaign that you might be running won't necessarily behave the same way as someone visiting your website because they clicked on a link in a drip email that you sent out. So you have to be aware of your different sources of traffic when running a test. And then when you're analyzing your test results, you want to make sure to segment those sources of traffic to see the real data that lies behind averages. What makes up that average, that conversion rate, or the results? If you're tracking revenue, see how each traffic source impacts the bottom line. Because who knows? Maybe visitors from your ads convert better in variation B, while the others convert better from your emails. Number 4, the novelty effect. Ever noticed how destabilized or even how angry people can get when their favorite sites like Facebook, Twitter, even Snapchat make changes? Well, in a similar way, when you run your A/B test, a similar thing could happen. For example, when showing a different version of a page that you're split testing, your returning or experienced visitors could simply decide to try out the new features or layouts that you introduced in your variation because it's new. This means that in a short term, one of your variations could have an advantage over the others. And yes, because people are new to it, but because people want to click around, they're trying to figure out maybe the layout or how to use that new change that you introduced. Now, it's good to know that eventually the novelty effects wear off, and what you thought was a winning test might become inconclusive. That's why you have to pay attention to the trends in terms of interaction, in terms of clicks, and based on what you changed, and monitor that even after the test change. So those are 4 validity threats to watch for when you're running your A/B test. So if this was helpful, please share this video with friends and colleagues. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.